Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Across the Fence. I'm Jolie Whitney. You know it, I know it, somebody's going to give you a holiday plant as a gift this year, and after you've thanked them, you've got to ask yourself, what am I going to do with this? Well, worry not, because our houseplant hero is here to help with any of your holiday horticulture that may come your way. Judy Mirro is a UVM Extension Master Gardener and a star on our ongoing series, Houseplant Hero. Welcome.
Nice to be here.
We're so glad to have you. So before we get into the details of these beautiful plants here, not all heroes wear capes, and sometimes heroes have to do things like get groceries. So tell me, now that you've been on the show a couple times, are you getting recognized in the public?
Yeah, actually I am, and it's rather amusing. Folks will come up to me and just, they won't say much. They'll just walk up to me and say, hey, I have a question, and they'll just start rattling off a question about a plant. Like, I have this plant, and I need to know what to do with it. So I love that Vermonters are just so open and forthcoming, and there's no shame. They'll just spurt out what the problem is, and they expect me to fix it immediately, so it's great, yeah.
I'm sure you're a helpful person to run into in the dairy aisle.
It's awesome, yeah.
So let's jump into it. Let's
Sure.
teach some people how to take care of their plants. Let's start with one of the more popular holiday plants we have here, the poinsettia.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, the poinsettia. Well, let's sort of get right to it on this whole thing about toxicity. There seems to be this terrible myth that the poinsettia is a toxic plant, and it isn't. It's related to the euphorbia, and it's an irritant, but it's not toxic. So let's dispel that rumor right away. The sap from the euphorbia or from the poinsettia is an irritant. So of course, if you have a pet that likes to eat your plant, you probably don't want to keep it around. It would give your pet an upset stomach, or if you get the sap on your hand, or or you rub your eyes, it's going to be a problem. So think about that before you bring it home. But otherwise, not a problem at all. And they're just gorgeous. These beautiful bracts that you see, these are just a leaf, really.
Yeah, so these aren't flowers at all.
These aren't flowers. The flowers are just these tiny little centers. That's really the flower. So, and if you give this plenty of sunshine, lots and lots of light, keep the soil a bit on the wetter side, don't let it dry out at all, keep it wet, you're going to have great color throughout the season. And if you want to keep it longer, like throughout the year, after it's done flowering, cut it back to 3 to 6 inches, and then let it kind of go dormant throughout the rest of the winter, and bring it back out into the sun for the spring, and let her regrow, and then you'll have a poinsettia for the rest of the year.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I actually, unfortunately, I killed one of these last year, so I'm excited that with your advice, I can try again.
They're lovely. They really are lovely.
And we have, of course, a pink and a red one here, but conventionally
Yes.
they're, I believe, white and pink, but they have a bunch of new variations now. Do you have a favorite?
I picked out this lovely bright pink one. I tend to go for the unusual colors because I have over 100 houseplants at home, so anything that's unusual or different is what I tend to go for. So yes, the reds and the whites are very traditional, but I love all the different variegated colors now. So yeah, anything different is where I'm going to go for. Yeah,
a little extra variety
Yes.
for a Christmas classic,
yes.
maybe.
Yes, yes.
All right, let's move on to maybe another staple for your holiday.
Yeah.
Do some redecorating here.
Oh, our Christmas
These here.
cactuses.
So this is a holiday cactus. Can you tell me a little bit about how to best care for that?
Yeah, so first let's talk about the types of cactus.
Sure.
So this is actually what traditionally we call a Thanksgiving cactus, and you'll notice that they're notched. And this is actually a Christmas cactus, and it's lobed or more rounded. Most everywhere you go these days, you're going to end up with a Thanksgiving cactus, or I like to call it a fall cactus. And this would be your traditional winter cactus. So these flower later in the winter, and these flower about this time of year, Thanksgiving through early Christmas, say. So, and then there's another one, a third one, that actually flowers in the spring, and they tend to call it an Easter cactus. And it's got a more rounded lobe without the little notching in it. So yeah, so there's the 3 varieties. They call them a cactus, but they're actually a succulent, so they store more water in the leaves, but they don't like full sun like a typical succulent or cactus, so they like a little bit of shade. So indirect bright light would keep them really happy. And they like a little bit more moisture than most succulents and cactus do. So don't let them dry out. If you do, the leaves are going to fall off, your flower buds will fall off. So just when the topsoil starts to dry out, you want to give them a good drink of water, and that'll keep them happy. And these guys easy to grow, and they'll last for years. I mean, I know people that have had plants passed down from mom to daughter or son and so on. I mean, they're just wonderful plants. So keep them happy, and they'll last a lifetime. Yeah, wonderful plants.
Yeah, I think in our kitchen at home we have one that's going to outlive me. With any luck.
Yeah. And they also like cool temperatures too, so don't keep them in anywhere where it's really hot. So cooler nights, even 60, 65 degrees is plenty cool for them. You start getting into hotter temperatures and they're not going to like that either, so yeah.
Do you have any advice for making them last a long time, or is it just regular care?
Just cooler, indirect light, and keep up on that watering, and they'll be plenty happy. Yeah, that's about it. Super easy plant.
Nice, a
great
quick one.
Gift.
Great gift for somebody who's maybe not a natural.
yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's move on to maybe another holiday favorite. Tell me if I'm saying this wrong. Is it a cyclamen?
No, let's Amaryllis.
Let's stay in order.
Yeah, no, Amaryllis. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna go for the Amaryllis.
Sure. All right. Sorry, we're pulling a fast one on you.
That's good. We'll just tuck him right here.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the Amaryllis.
All right, tell me about the Amaryllis.
Oh, this is one you see everywhere. Now, this we're showing you right here is not something, this is something fairly new that we're seeing on the market. Typically, you would get a bulb, and you would plant the bulb in soil just to the crown, and you would keep them in the sunshine, keep them in the dirt, and then water them and fertilize them until you would see this pretty much happening. And then you would back off on the fertilizing, and then bring them out of the full sun, and then this happens, which is kind of spectacular. But this is something new, this waxed version. I'm not sure who started it or figured it out, but they don't need any soil. You just have to keep them in full sun, again, until the buds appear, and then bring them back out of the full sun into indirect light and let them bloom away. And then, again, pretty typical for Amaryllis, a little more difficult to keep year-round. You have to have a little more effort. They are toxic to pets, so if your pets do chew on plants, this is one not to keep at home. And again, if you want to keep it year-round, you've got to let them go dormant. You wait until the flower heads yellow and die off. You cut them back, put them in dirt, in pots. You can leave them in pots, bring them outside for the summer. Well, obviously, all the rest of the winter, you leave them in their pots and just water, and when they dry out, keep them in a nice sunny window, bring them outside for the summer, and then start fertilizing through the spring and summer months, bring them back indoors once the temperatures hit about 50, and then wait for them to rebloom again. So it's a lot of effort, but I think it's worth the challenge. So, but if you're not really into it, and again, if it's a toxic plant, if your animals like to munch on your greenery, not a great one to bring it home.
Sure, maybe not a gift for somebody looking for something very low maintenance if they're looking to keep it for a while.
Right.
And this one can be a little harder to get out of the box. Do you have any advice for that?
What do you mean by out of the box? I'm sorry.
To bloom. Sorry.
Oh, to bloom. Yeah. Again, cool and sunny locations are great. I think it's just wonderful. I don't think it's that hard to get them to bloom. A little fertilizer, bright sunshine, until it gets to the bud stage, and then bring them back out of the sun, indirect light, and they're happy. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Patience is a virtue.
Patience. Yes. Be patient with them. It'll do beautiful things for you. Yeah.
All right. Should we move on to the Cyclamen? Am I saying that right? Sure. Yeah, we can go on to the Narcissus. You lead and I will follow.
Yeah, let's get him up there.
That's why you're the plant expert.
Let's go to the Narcissus. We got this.
All right.
Okay, so another bulb plant, also toxic again. So if you're looking for something if you've got pets that eat plants, this is not your choice. These are really easy to force. You can do it in water, just like this, in a bulb vase, where you just put the water in, place the bulb down, and let her go. All you need is a dark room, 50 degrees, until you see the tips start to come out. You wait for them to come up a few inches, and then bring them out, put them in the sunshine.
And should you change out the water for something like that?
You could, but you don't have to. They're usually fine just the way they are. If it starts to get murky, yes, definitely. And the pebble tray is another version of it, and the same thing, there's water underneath these pebbles, and you just want to have the, there's roots under here, obviously, so I don't want to pull them out. But all you want to do is make sure that water is level underneath those pebbles, and they'll do fine. As soon as they start to sprout, you bring them out into the sunshine and let them go, and bring them into a warmer location after they've been in a nice, cool, dark location until you've got some sprouts, and then bring them into the sunshine, into a warmer area of your house, and within a few weeks you'll have some beautiful flowers.
Well, before we run out of time, for the viewers at home, I want to get to our last plant here, the Cyclamen.
Sure.
Is that right? I feel like I've said it wrong 3 times, but you, of course, are the expert and are kind enough to correct me if I'm...
Oh, no, you're fine. So yeah, so Cyclamen, these are grown out of tubers, beautiful tubers, and you can get varieties of colors and sizes. As you see here, we have 2 different kinds. Really easy to grow. You want to keep these moist, and the one thing that's really important to keep these going for a long time is water from the bottom. So take them out of their little wrappers and then place them in a pot, not a pot, but in a tray of water, and then water from the bottom. So you want to set this right in a tray of water and leave it for 5 to 10 minutes, and then take it out, drain it, and then put it back on wherever you have it in a sunny location.
That sounds great, and they're beautiful.
And they're beautiful. Do not water from the top, whatever you do. The little tubers don't like that. Again, another toxic plant, though. So.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we're out of time.
Okay.
But maybe somebody will run into you in the store and have another question.
Sure.
And if you have any questions about one of the plants we've talked about today, or any plant really, you can email the UVM Master Gardeners at the website on your screen. That's our program for today. Thank you for joining us on Across the Fence. I'm Jolie Whitney. Have a good one.